Hey finders, and welcome back to Fortune Finds, and welcome to a full face beat makeup tutorial. Now, if you've been watching my recent videos, I always wear makeup in my videos, but I haven't really gone the extra mile to really sit down and paint my face. Now, this is the kind of makeup that, in my opinion, looks amazing on videos, looks amazing in photography, and it also, I gotta be honest, guys, it looks really good in real life. It's a very doll-like skin. We are essentially erasing our faces, honestly. We're getting rid of all of our imperfections, erasing our pores, erasing any discoloration, and then kind of making our face one-dimensional and flat, and then bringing the features of our face back in the way that we really want our face to look. I am always about embracing ourselves, embracing our flaws, embracing everything about ourselves, honestly. I'm always about that here on my channel. But when you're doing a full face beat, you can kind of just take your face wherever it is you really want to go. So just to be clear, we are only talking about our skin today. I'm showing you guys how to do the base of your face. So I'm not talking about eyes, I'm not talking about lips, and I'm not talking about brows. As always, I will put every single product that I mentioned and did not mention in today's video down below in the description. We're only doing the face. Look at that face. Look at that cheek. Is that not a cheek that one aspires to have every day? Look at that. We are chiseled, we are highlighted, we are just ready to take on the world. If you're new here and you've never seen my face before, my name is Fortune and I'm a certified professional makeup artist, and I love to upload videos here on my channel that are just educational. I love to teach you guys how to take your makeup routine to the next level, and I also really love to teach you guys about products. I am a very big review-based channel. If you are someone that really likes favorite videos or just knowing all there really is to know about beauty products that are out on the market, then I feel like you and I will really get along. So be sure to subscribe and ring the bell. This way you get a notification every time I'm uploading a new video here on my channel. I have a ton of products in front of me and we have a lot of steps to get to. So with that being said, if you've subscribed and you've rung the bell, then let's go ahead and hop right into the video. So I've gone ahead, I have done my brows and I've done my eyes off camera, and I just want to touch upon the skincare that I think you really need when doing a full face of makeup. Washed my face using my soy face cleanser, then I did the Dermalogica exfoliant afterward, so my face is nice and smooth, all of the dead skin is off, and then I think it's really important to make sure that you go ahead and hydrate. I did go ahead and I used my Kiehl's Ultra Daily Moisturizer that has an SPF of 30, and I also used the Malin and Goetz eye cream, and I just put that around my eyes. So it's very, very, very important to hydrate your skin, not only because it will make the base of your face look smoother, but it will also prevent your skin from eating your makeup. Whether you're oily or dry, your skin can be dehydrated, and if your skin is dehydrated, it's going to absorb anything on your face. So make sure that you moisturize. This way your skin can take the time to absorb that. Typically, I prime my face using a moisturizer, but if you're doing a full face of makeup, that usually means that you're going somewhere, you want this makeup to last a very long time. So it's important to use a primer that will grip the makeup and hold onto it for as long as possible. So I'm going to use a mix of two primers today. I'm going to go ahead and use the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. I'm going to take 2 pumps of that. I'm kind of going to focus it on the center of my face more because that is where I tend to lose my makeup first. I feel like makeup tends to leave my cheeks, my nose, and my mouth region first. I would totally recommend putting this down your neck as well if you're going to put makeup down your neck. However, I'm not going anywhere, so I'm not going to bother. Tarte Clean Slate Primer. This is a pore filling primer. I'm just going to pick it up with my ring finger and I'm just going to bounce this into my pores. So anywhere where you have those little holes in your face, right in here, and I'm kind of pushing and pressing it into my skin. If you are someone that feels really insecure about your pores, when you put your makeup down, you kind of see that your makeup lays in your pores and you can see those little holes in your face. I highly, highly, highly recommend getting this primer, and it kind of gives a blurring effect. I don't know if you can see that on camera. I don't think that color correcting is totally necessary. I do think that it makes a difference. Even if it makes the slightest difference, it always makes me feel better. So darkness, you always want to use an orangey red. Take this on my finger, see? And I'm going to pat this underneath my eyes really gently. If you put too much on, You will kind of see like that extra layer underneath your foundation, so it'll kind of be smooth, and then if you put too much where that color corrector is, it'll be like smooth and then a thicker layer. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick up the green with a different finger, and I'm gonna pat this over any areas where I'm really red, because green cancels out red. So can you see the difference between this side of my mouth and this side of my mouth? So I put the color corrector on this side, and it kind of puts like a veil over that redness. And like I said, I've really pressed it into my skin, so there's not a thick layer. But see how much redder this side of my face is than this side? Oh my God, I burnt my finger today curling my hair. I like literally picked up the wand on the metal side, and my whole hand is like throbbing right now. I'm gonna put a little bit down my nose too, just because my nose is a little red. This is the blood vessel that bursted? Is that a word? That burst underneath my skin, and it's red, so I'm gonna take a little bit of that green and I'm gonna pat it just over that one little section. When it comes to a full face of makeup, I always like to contour underneath my skin and then put foundation over it, and then contour and bronze again on top of it. So we're kind of working in that layering mentality. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna contour my face using Yensa Sunlit Glow Silk Bronzing Base. Start putting this in the hollows of my cheeks. It doesn't need to look precise, it doesn't need to be perfected, but I do like to go ahead and look straight into the mirror, or in this case, I'm looking straight into the monitor and just trying to get my contour as symmetrical as I possibly can. I'm gonna bring it underneath the jawline to really sculpt that jawline. I like to make my forehead a little bit smaller. And then I'm gonna pinch the brush and just bring it down the sides of my nose, and I'm gonna put it on my nostrils because I like to make my nose look a little bit less wide. Next, I'm going to go in with my concealer, and I'm going to use a damp beauty blender. I'm just going to put this basically in the center of my face. So that might look crazy, but it's going to look okay, I promise. Just trust the process. Lightly tap. We want to keep that color corrector in place. Lightly and gently tapping this into the skin. And I'm kind of bringing it up along that contour. So we're essentially beginning the highlighting process by highlighting underneath our eyes and just putting this along where we contour to just make that contour pop a little bit more to create that contrast. If you're ever using any kind of beauty sponge and you feel it starting to dry up, getting a little bit too dry, just take your makeup spray and then you can go back in and blend. Any kind of cream product, in this case it's my concealer, that just won't seem to blend, like it dried out a little bit too much, go in with the warmth of your finger and then go back in with whatever you're using to blend it out. Now we're gonna go in with our foundation. So this is kind of in a weird order, but trust me, it works. Like you are going to have a full face beat, but it's gonna be like very natural. You know, it's not gonna look like you're wearing tons and tons of makeup. NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation in the shade Vienna, and I'm just gonna shake it up. I always like to shake up my foundation. If it sits there a little bit too long, it can separate, and then the formula is just not the same. It's not the same texture. I'm gonna take about 2 pumps. You can technically do this with any kind of brush, but I really do find that a brush like this works the best. You can see it's like a denser brush at the bottom, and then the bristles at the top are much thinner and they pick up less product. So I'm just going to go on the back of my hand. I'm really going to prime this brush. Start this in the sections of my face wherever that contour isn't. So I'm starting it underneath. And I'm going to pat it like over the sections where I have product so that it doesn't erase that product. It kind of just makes it blend in a little bit more. So as you can see, I'm going over that contoured section, but now there isn't a lot on the brush. So it's just going to make it blend in a little bit more. And when doing this technique, you know, you really don't need a lot of foundation because our face is pretty much covered with contour and concealer setting spray. And I'm just going to gently tap everything down. If you are someone that has dry skin, I think this is a really good step. This is an awesome step to just blend everything together, make it look a little bit more natural. But again, tapping and pressing motions are kind of the name of the game in this because we have put so many layers on. So if I were to just go and like swipe, it would move all the layers that I put on my face. And we really want to keep them in place. A little bit more concealer at the end of my circles. And I'm just gonna pat this really lightly. and I'm gonna kind of bring it up along that nose contour that we did ever so slightly, again, just to make it pop. Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I'm just taking out any of the lines underneath my eyes, and I'm gonna do the same thing on my forehead and around my mouth. Coat my sponge. And again, I'm gonna lay it on the sides of my nose and underneath my eyes. Really, really light layer of this. So again, on the sides of my nose, I'm just lining it up, looking up and putting it along my eyes, a little bit on my chin. I have like a non-existent chin, but if you have a longer chin or a bigger chin and you don't want it to look as big, don't highlight it with powder. And I'm also gonna put this around my mouth. This will help prevent your makeup from moving into your smile lines. And I'm gonna bake my forehead because again, same kind of thing with the mouth section. I have deeper forehead wrinkles and I don't want my foundation to settle into those wrinkles. Let this sit for a few minutes. This will feel uncomfortable if you have dry skin. I have very dry sensitive skin. So right now I'm kind of feeling really dry and like tight. But we're gonna go ahead and remedy it very soon, so do not worry. We'll go in and make our skin feel nice. It's just, we need to do this step to ensure that things don't move into the fine lines of our face and just make sure that our makeup lasts all day. Snatched on that Scott Barnes 60 brush, and I'm just gonna bring my lip contour back. And this is a powder that goes on like a cream. It's so freaking pigmented. I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush. You can take any big fluffy brush, but I'm gonna use the Scott Barnes 64 brush. I'm just gonna whisk any of that excess powder that my skin didn't absorb away. You can go ahead and lay powder down next to contour, just like we kind of did with concealer, to really make it pop next to the contour that we put on our cheeks, kind of cutting it and making it more pronounced. And I do like to look straight ahead into my mirror to get this as symmetrical as I can. While that is there, I'm gonna go ahead and bronze my face. If it goes out of line and comes down here, that powder, we're gonna wipe it away and it's gonna catch it. RealHer Ultimate Glow Getter Cheek Trio, Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH05, and I'm gonna hop into the bronzer shade Incredible, and I'm gonna pat this over that cream bronzer. And see, it's just going to make it a little bit darker. It's gonna make it a little bit more pigmented. We're just layering in a very specific, methodical way. This is just gonna really also ensure that your makeup lasts all day long. So say that the first layer of your makeup started to fade, well, that cream layer underneath is gonna go ahead and catch it. So it's never gonna look like you're missing any makeup in a certain spot of your face. And then I'm gonna take what's ever left on the brush and just run it over my forehead because I don't want it to be a square. You see how it's kind of a square right here? So I kind of want to blend that in a little bit better. Now I just want to further contour a little bit. So I'm going to hop back into my Scott Barnes palette. This is the best contouring powder palette I have ever used and probably will ever use. I love it so, so much. I know that it's pricey, but it's definitely worth it. Dice right here. And I'm going to keep this really deep into the back of my face, in the hollow of my cheek right here. And I'm going to continue with this shade. I'm just going to keep it really tight to the hairline, almost like pushing it into my hair. Take a big bronzer brush. This is my favorite one. This is by Complex. I would go back into my bronzer shade, pat this now because I don't want to move any of the things we just put on our face. And I'm just going to pat this over everything. See how like chiseled our cheeks are? Okay, this one, I think we need to blend out a little bit. You can always go in with your powder brush too and just go over wherever you think your makeup looks a little bit too harsh. And you can always pick up a little powder if that's not working. I'm gonna tap off the excess though, like a little bit right there, and just tap that over. And I wanna dice my chin a little bit. I just wanna make my chin look a little bit sharper. I'm gonna bring that all along the jawline. Wipe away the excess powder underneath. I'm gonna grab a little blending brush. This is a Morphe M575, and I'm gonna pick up Diced just on the tip of that. I'm gonna tap off the excess, bring this along the sides of my nose. I do have a crooked nose and I kind of just want it to even it out. See, this side always goes on crooked. Back in with that foundation brush, pick up what's ever left on the back of my hand of that foundation, and I'm just gonna pounce this over the nose. Honest Beauty Pink Peony Cream Blush. Smile. And just add this to the apples of my cheeks. And I'm gonna put a little bit on my nose too, just because I'm a little worried about that nose contour I just did, honestly. Definitely want to go over this blush with a powder blush. So I'm just gonna use the one in this palette again, Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH06, and I'm gonna kind of keep it towards the back. So I did bring that cream blush in, but I kind of want to keep this one a little bit more concentrated in the back. And then kind of just like blend this all in when there's little to nothing left over on the brush. Put it over my nose and on my chin. Morphe Continuous Setting Spray, and I'm just gonna mist my face because it feels very tight, and this is gonna help to make it feel less tight and less dry. Just a quick tip, I'm noticing that my under eyes look a little bit too light, so I kind of want to make them match my foundation a little bit more. I will take a foundation powder. This is a pretty full coverage powder. This is the J.Cat Aqua Insurance Foundation Compact Powder, and this is in the shade Natural with that powder brush we've been using. And I'm just gonna dab it underneath my eyes. You see how that just kind of, it blends in a little bit more with the rest of my face, I think, this shade rather than this shade. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. It's also gonna add a little bit more coverage underneath my eyes because it is a foundation. So it's a powder that packs a little bit more coverage. Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette. And I'm just gonna literally put this all over my face, but I'm kind of gonna focus it on the sections of my face where I want to gleam first, so you can kind of see. This isn't a highlighter, but it just adds a little bit of light. And then I'm gonna put it everywhere, but this will kind of just blend everything in even more so. I'm just gonna use the same glow palette that I've been using, the RealHer one, and this is like my favorite highlighter at the moment, and this is in the shade Goddess. BMX 265 Moda Pro brush. Tap that onto the highest points of my cheeks. Add a little bit to my chin, my Cupid's bow. And I'm also gonna put a little bit here because my nose kind of sits further back up top. I want it to come forward. I'm gonna finish off the rest of my face and I'll meet you right back here as soon as I'm done. All right guys, and this is the finished makeup look. As always, any of the products that I did mention in today's video, as well as the products that I did not mention in today's video, will be listed down below for you guys in case you're interested in anything specific. If you did enjoy this video and you would like to see more videos like this, if you enjoy a full glam yourself, then do be sure to leave it a big thumbs up down below. If you watch this and you have any questions about the techniques that I did, or maybe you have questions as to what products you would like to substitute instead of the products that I did use, leave them down below. I would love to help you guys out. Like I said, I love to talk about beauty. I love to talk about makeup, and I just really enjoy interacting with you guys and teaching you everything that I know about beauty. So again, make sure that you subscribe and ring the bell before you leave. I had a great time as always. Check out some of the videos that I'm going to put up at the end of this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, Finders. Mwah.